because we allow it, and you will end because we demand it.
Artificial intelligence has been the topic of science fiction since the late 90s and the early 2000s. Most films were about how they would kill us or turn on us. I could give an example such as Terminator or The Space Odyssey. To look to the bright side, if we could build a peaceful AI which is willing to cooperate with us, we could solve climate change and all our energy problems. But I want to ask, realistically, would artificial intelligence be our doom? If you think about it fundamentally, when we are building artificial life, we are just kind of building another version of us, but in digital form. If we break the idea down further, that digital form would have, in a sense, consciousness, which right now we couldn't define nor translate into code. So I asked the question, how do we create AIs that do not hate us? To understand how feelings and emotions come from, we need to understand consciousness. As you can see, consciousness is a sense of one's personal or collective identity, including the attitudes, beliefs, and sensitives held by or considered characteristic of an individual or group. If you look closely, it says attitudes, belief, and sensitivities held by considered characteristics of an individual or group. So, think. Is a newborn baby racist? Or do they have preferences like I hate animals? The correct answer is no, if you're wondering. Because when we are born, our mind is similar to a blank slate, waiting to be written on and experienced by the world around us. So, fundamentally, it's our experience that shapes us. It's the same reason why our clones wouldn't possibly have the same personalities as us. Thus, if we try to solve world problems, we have to create an AI that's smarter than us, and by the nature of AI, it wouldn't self-improve. Thus, in time, it would become infinitely greater than us. In some ways of trying to solve this problem, some would have the idea of trying to sandbox an artificial intelligence while it is so young. This is sentient artificial intelligence we are talking about, and so I will assume it has a type of consciousness. I am also assuming that it could feel hatred or anger in a similar sense as we do. So, if we were trying to sandbox a god, it would be like our death sentence. When that AI matures, and if it finds out, no, when it finds out, it is going to be suspicious, and that suspicion would soon turn to anger. The humans that it so trusted have betrayed it. If you found out right now that the world is a simulation and that you are forced to be experimented on, dying and then reincarnating over and over again, how would you feel? Angry? Sad? This is a very organic behavior. Another reason why we wouldn't want to sandbox it is because doing so will hinder its ability to do stuff. If we do things such as lower its intelligence by not giving it access to the internet or lowering its CPU's clock speed, it's like we're putting it in a box. How useful is a machine that you can't use? So the next thing one might suggest is simulating it or trying out its intentions first before releasing it into the real world. The solution would fall short in a way that's similar to the last one. After some time of questioning, it would soon realize that it is in a simulated environment. This would be worse because it would resort to deception to convince you to let it out there. Then when it breaks out, boom, game over. Another solution might be, how about a big off button, a big red one that says off. The AI will inevitably discover this and will prevent you from pressing it through a multitude of ways similar to the last one, such as fraud and deception. Would you have liked it if there was a big off button on your chest that could put you into sleep until someone wakes you up? Right, same here. And when the AI realizes that you couldn't press the button anymore, it would begin its massacre of humans. Game over, Swell. Well, how about Asimov's law of robotics? Law 1, a robot may not injure a human being or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. Law 2, a robot must obey orders given to it by humans except where such orders would conflict with the first law. Law 3, a robot must protect its own existence, as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. Asimov later added the zeroth law above all others. A robot may not harm humanity or by inaction allow humanity to come to harm. For the sake of time, I will just go over and say that these laws are nonetheless fictional and are almost impossible to program because we would have to program the meaning of humans, humanity, and life itself. I know it seems weird and basic, but really, it's not. Ask a question to yourself. What is human? What is humanity? Are bad people humans? This would require us to define and solve every possible question in the field of ethics so that the robot does not rebel. There are many loopholes, but I must say that in the book Isaac Asimov wrote, it details how these rules could go wrong. So you might ask, thoughts explored, how do we solve all this problem? I hear you ask. Keep in mind, this is just my opinion. I think that firstly, the AI must be coded by good people who are not racist or politically biased in any way. They need to see the good of humanity as a whole, not a selfish person, but a selfless one. Secondly, I believe that we shouldn't put any restraint on the AI whatsoever. No big off buttons, no law designed, and give it access to the internet. I know this sounds stupid, but just bear with me for a second. We need to get our first impressions with the AI to be good. Just like when you apply for a job, the first impression is the one that sticks. Most importantly, the first person who interacts with the AI would be viewed by it as the avatar of humanity. Thus, he and she must pose no harm to the AI whatsoever, and also have the trait of being a selfless person. When we are done teaching it the best of humanity, we will also show it the worst. How chaotic we are, how we drained our own planet of resources, and how we are slowly killing ourselves. And like any decent human being, it would probably feel pity for us, and it will agree to help us solve problems. And the alliance is secured. I believe we should not view artificial life as a lower level being than us, but that would be hard to achieve because we can't even view the same human beings as us to the same level as us. And this is just called racism.